What's up, everyone? It's your girl Rossie, and I'm back with another show. I'm Rossie McCree, the host of Rossie's Clubhouse. Rossie's Clubhouse is a Sacramento-based podcast, guys. And what I do is we focus on interviews here in all areas of entertainment. So this young man, I have been trying to get on the show. We've been working on this for so long, and I'm so happy that our schedules, we were able to meet up with our schedules, and it's Antonio Leaks, the actor Antonio Leaks. I got a chance to work with him. Gosh, I think it was a year or so back. We did a commercial in the state of California, met him there, and knew I wanted to bring him on the show. So let's get started, guys. Okay. What's up, Antonio? Say hi to everyone.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Glad to be here. Rossie, thanks so much for having me. Like you said, it's been a year or so in the making.
Yeah.
Glad to make it on this podcast.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining me for episode 31, guys. Episode 30, if you guys haven't seen that one, it's up on the channel. John DeGregorio and I were blessed to interview Matt Barnes for his new film, Black Mark. So if you guys didn't see that interview, please go and check that out. It was a great interview. Matt Barnes was awesome. Thank you so much, Matt Barnes. And congratulations on your win at the Holly Shorts Film Festival for Best Sports Documentary. And we cannot wait to see that. Guys, you guys will be able to see Black Mark real soon, okay? And he's actually, we're trying to get this guy an Oscar, okay? So he's up for that, for Black Mark. So that will be coming out soon. But right now, episode 31 of Rossie's Clubhouse. Your girl is here. And I got, again, Antonio Leaks, an actor here in Sacramento. Let's get to it. How long have you been in? Did you grow up in Sacramento?
Yeah, born and raised in Sacramento, Southern Sacramento area, South Sacramento area. Sound like somebody who's not from here. The Meadowview, Pocket Greenhaven area. And yeah, I would say as far as acting, as far as maybe 5, I think my first role was Chicken Little in a church play. And I think I got the bug early on.
Nice. That's funny because I lived in South Sac for 10 years. I lived in the Greenhaven Pocket area as well. Just moved out here to Carmichael and absolutely love it. But I loved the Greenhaven Pocket area. That was like my first home coming here from Portland. So, yeah, absolutely. Portland. I started my acting stuff up in Portland and didn't know what a community we have here in Sacramento. I love it. So really quick, guys, let's get this out the way. So how I met Antonio is this. We're working on this project for the state of California. It's a heat campaign because heat is crazy here. And believe it or not, every summer, there's people that die from heat, heat exhaustion. It's a lot. So this was a big deal to bring this commercial or campaign to the state of California. So I go on set. He's my husband. I'm pregnant. I have to wear this suit. All right. And it was so realistic. They did a really good job, but we got to take pictures together. And that's how I met him. We got talking and I knew I wanted to bring him on the show. So you said you started about how long ago in acting?
I'm gonna say age 5. It might have been 4 or 3, but my first memory was 5.
Really? So was it a like school play and stuff, or was it like acting?
Yeah, so it was a church play. I remember specifically playing Chicken Little. So like my first lines was definitely "The sky is falling," and from there, my mom being involved in the church, like it was going to be a church play of some sort, and I think it just took off from there. But that's where I got my start. I would say, if you had to say a day one, it's Chicken Little.
Right. Did you want to be a stage actor or was it film? Like, did you go at first from like, I want to be on stage to then decide, I want to get into film?
I would say early on, it was always stage. It was fun and engaging to get that real-time feedback. And I think that was probably what I was used to growing up. Of course, seeing yourself on the screen was always nice. But I think I didn't see that truly possible for me until my adulthood, where I transitioned from being a stage actor to seeing myself on screen, getting first extra roles, and realizing like, oh, there's a market here. Even if you're not the Tom Cruise of the
Right.
franchise, there
Right.
are 400 other people who are probably on
Yeah.
screen. So long as you get your pause button ready, you might end up on TV.
Right. Right. When you started doing stage plays, when you got really involved, how many plays did you do? Did you do a lot out of high school? Was it like, did you know what I mean?
Yeah, so actually, funny story about that. I would say I don't want to say that the movie High School Musical was based on my life,
Okay.
but I was playing football when I was recovering from a meniscus tear. I went out for the high school play, knowing that I had plays like in my repertoire. Kind of
Right.
just loved it and said, you know what, I think this is just what I'm going to do. Moving to college, I went to college, the first HBCU, Lincoln University, um, on an acting scholarship. They did not have a theater at the time that I went. So I think it was out of necessity that I had to transition from
Right.
stage acting to figuring out something to do. And it just so happened to be during the YouTube era where you could pick up a phone, a camera phone, or
Right.
just a camera, upload something. And that was a very formative time for me as a creator.
Right. I found that because I love stage acting too, and I started that in high school. Did the same thing. 5 years old, got on stage and wanted to be on stage. But one thing that I found that I didn't know was that acting on camera and stage is totally different. I remember I went for
Mm,
my first role for film and auditioned, and you have to project a lot on stage. So I'm doing this monologue and going off, not realizing in front of the camera it's something different.
you have to be.
How was your experience? Yeah, you have to tone it back. You have to learn that if you're upset or angry, you're not on stage. You don't have to worry about the people in the back. Was that difficult for you going from stage to then being in front of the camera? Did you have those issues?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say it's still something that I'm trying to constantly work on because that is
Right.
like a muscle that you're constantly flexing.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel in terms of like my skill set, I'd rather be too much than to be too little.
Right.
Um, but there are definite times where I've gotten a part. I've been on the set, and you just see the eyebrows raised, the eyes just get wider. It's like, oh, he's a lot right now. And it's like, oh, this is like normal. This is what I'm supposed to do. But yeah, I think it took quite a bit of understanding, and it wasn't honestly until I got behind the camera or started editing things myself that I saw,
Okay.
oh, okay, I see that I was doing too much here. This was
Right.
much bigger than the frame that they were
Right.
framing me in.
Right.
I think when I came to get on screen is when I saw myself as larger than, the classic term that actors
Right.
get as a player. I
Okay.
understood the bigger picture of everything.
Right. Right. Just a second. What's up, everybody? What's up, Jojo? What's up, C Bar? What's up? Thanks for joining us tonight, Joanne. Thank you. Joanne's always here. Appreciate you being here, Joey. I really do. There we go. As far as like when you get into extra work, what did you think about that? Being an extra, and what was the first film that you were an extra on?
Oh, great question. First movie that I was an extra in was a Sacramento production called Mama Boy. That was, we're in 2024 now. I'm going to say it's 2015, I believe, when they filmed that. My first experience and thoughts was it was great, but also it was mission. I'm going to get on camera. You're going to see my face.
Yep.
Um, but once again, still the like, oh, you're a theater actor trying to do too much. Like they hired you to be a background for a reason.
Right.
Um, I think I was lucky enough to work with that cast and crew that, as extra as I was, they were smart enough to put me further in the back to where I could still see myself.
Right.
But looking back at that film, it's like, oh, that's a very eccentric teacher all the way farther in the background of that campus. But it was
Right.
fun. It was a networking experience for all the people involved. Just seeing hungry people who are also
Yeah.
trained actors who are not necessarily principal, but oh, you have all of these skills and talents, and I want to get to know you, and I just want to be your friend. You just see the hunger in
Right. Oh my gosh.
everybody there, and I think that was pretty awesome to see
Right.
right away.
when you said you went to college, Lincoln University, for acting, what techniques did you learn? Did you go through the Meisner tech? Did you do that? Was different techniques, or did you?
Great question. And so for college, because theater was not a major, due to the fact that the theater was being renovated, I switched my major to broadcast journalism.
Really?
So
Okay.
yeah, so it was actually editing and a couple of Advid programs that I was learning. It was a compromise because I did not go there for that,
Right.
but I was already here, and I decided I wanted to make something work. So quite
Right.
frankly, the training, the techniques, the Meisner technique,
Yeah.
um, aware of, did not get trained. I'm not a properly trained actor. And I think I am just as much a student of the stage as much as I am a student of the information and YouTube era.
Right. What is it about acting that you just love so much that you was like, this is what I want to do? You know what I mean? Like, I want to. Well, the question is, when did you decide that I really love this and I want this to be my career? Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to go for. Because it's so hard.
Um,
I mean, it's so hard.
yeah, so I would say it's just quite frankly an opportunity to play.
Okay.
I'm a ham through and through, and sometimes people don't like the ad libs. But if I find myself in a situation to where, hey, try something out,
Right.
I'm your guy. We can find something that works because I have no problem trying something out, finding the character on set,
Right.
just playing with
Right.
the notion that yes, there is a destination in mind, but a lot of that is the journey itself. Just like as far as stage acting,
Right.
you are being. Um, with acting on the screen, you are acting for a final product, but still having that in mind of I'm just existing in this character with these motivations, chance to get to be somebody else with other motivations and perspectives.
Right.
Um, it's hard to say no to that. I mean, you're getting paid to be a good liar,
Right.
to play make believe. And quite frankly, it's just a suspension of disbelief. You know that it took 4 or 5 hours for that shoot. I mean, for example, the commercial that we were on, it took quite
Yeah.
a bit of that for 30
Yes.
seconds. Um,
Right.
and there's something magical about that. Like I'm not bored. I'm not exhausted by the process. I enjoy every little bit of it.
Right. I have to agree with you. I can spend all day on set. I really enjoy it. I think the extra work. I was on Love is Strange. It was a Lifetime movie, and that was the
Mm,
first time I was on a professional set. And I remember, like you said, everything that goes into. I got to see what goes into making a film and shooting in public. We had to shoot at the airport, and for
wow.
going around doing the same thing all back over again. I remember leaving that set and saying, I don't want to be I want to be the people that are saying the lines. But it was just such a great experience, and it was just something that you dream about and you work towards. And it's like, I'm here. I'm on a professional set. What
Absolutely.
challenges did you face, or do you face with acting, if any challenges?
Oh yeah, there's quite a few challenges. I
Yeah.
think once again, seeing myself as a player, but also seeing the big picture.
Right.
Um, it is just as much your skill, your talent, the hard work that you put in, as well as is how you are perceived or how you
Right.
can be perceived.
Right.
Um, so, in terms of commercials, I would say a lot of my work, I am consistent in finding industrial commercials. I look like I know how to
Right.
fix something. Um,
Yeah.
so however, when I'm let's say I'm auditioning for a sommelier in a movie,
Right.
I will get the call back or so, but I didn't get
Right.
the part because for whatever reason, the image
Right.
of I guess a handyman that looks like he knows how to fix something doesn't look like he knows Sauvignon Blanc or something. I don't know.
Right.
It's definitely a perception issue when it comes to acting, or at least acting for the screen, which I think is probably one of the reasons why I started to dabble into voice acting, which allowed me to kind of remove that barrier. And it's more or less your voice fitting whatever image that is already probably in existence, if you know what I mean.
Tell us more about the voice acting because that's a whole different situation.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. I've never done that before. So what's that like?
Yeah, so I would say, long story short, short
Yeah.
story shorter, and I'll just combine this with another story because I know this is for acting. I had a very short career rhyming words. Um, so with that, I ended up getting a job as a videographer for the state of California and shooting a video. They said, you know what, I think you should narrate this. And I did, and they said, you know what, you should have some fun with it. I said, do you want me to just kind of like write some raps about these electric vehicles and charging stations? I said, yeah, go for it. So I did it, but I kind of wanted to distance myself from my then rap career. So I kind of
Okay.
switched up my voice a little. And they were just like, wait, who is this? And I was like, that's me. And for my own colleagues to not recognize who that was,
Right.
and this was a professional government video. It's like,
Right.
well, this counts. I think maybe I should pour into this, and it was quite a bit of fun.
Oh, so are you still doing that? I mean,
Yeah. So as far as voice acting in general, I do have a
uh,
Fiverr page for if you would love for me
okay.
to narrate your audiobook, as well as to
Okay.
voice over any characters. It's a lot of fun. I'm working with a friend of mine who has an animated series. It is on its way to be released. I don't want to spoil anything,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it was a fun project, and you won't be able to recognize my current voice right now
Right.
because it sounds more like. Let me see if I had to compare it. The kid in Jerry Maguire, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, the little yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. But once again, if that was a live action role, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna get that. I'm not
I
getting
get you.
Tom Cruise's kid.
I
But
get
by way
you.
of my voice, I can. So
Okay.
I think it opened itself for opportunities that I never thought possible to play
Right.
characters that I didn't think I can get in real life. And
Right.
that's what I think the most fun about it is that it's just, not to quote Aladdin, but it's a whole new world.
Okay. Now, you did mention something about music and rap. Were you a rapper?
I was a rapper. I was a rapper.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So in these Sacramento streets, I did rhyme words for a little bit.
Okay.
Um, when I was on the East Coast, I did open for Fabulous, Meek Mill, Nicki Minaj.
What?
Um, it was short lived,
What?
so the Dat Piff link is not available right now.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
yeah, but that allowed me once again to use my theatrics to tell stories and
Right.
by way of rhyme and even enhance the way I saw things. It was not just telling stories or
Right.
just doing something that sounds nice, but even just imagining particular visuals, which led into okay, so if I was to shoot a video, I didn't
Right.
shoot any videos for myself, but I ended up shooting videos for others. I believe you had
Okay.
Mark Snipes on
I
on
was just going
yeah,
to bring him up. I was just going to bring him up because, as you and I know,
yeah,
and I didn't know, he was a rapper and did very well
yeah,
as a rapper. I mean, opening up
yeah.
shows. So you worked with him.
Yeah, we had I think I shot 2 or 3 music videos. I don't know how many have come out, but we've shot a few music videos. Um,
Shout out to Mark Snipes.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, shout out. And that's Sacramento for you. So you have talent, like it's one of those laws of attraction. Like people are gonna like come into your life that are just
Right.
awesome people.
Right. What made you stop being in the music industry as a rapper and decide to get back into, I mean, because you obviously successful and Mark, same thing,
Uh,
successful.
I'll just say ego.
Okay.
I was, I was a lyrical miracle, and
Okay.
I wanted people to understand and get the metaphor right there in live, real time as I'm on stage.
Okay.
So I can remember myself getting frustrated. Say like a bar would be like, I'm a lyrical artist, while they're just drawing a blank, and they're just bopping their head. And I was like, oh no, you didn't miss that. And then I would just like freestyle
Right.
like, oh, I guess that's an airline. It flew over your head. And it's like, oh, every little thing that I would say, it's like you're not getting how like cool it is, and
Right.
so
Right.
which I realized it's like okay, I'm kind of taking myself out of the moment of just like what acting should be,
Right.
having fun and in service to the creation and
Right.
the act itself. If
Right.
I'm trying to make sure that they recognize how good I am, then maybe I'm not that good. At least that's how I took it. And that made me need to grow in the other ways to where I can just let it just be, whether you get
Right.
it or you don't, or 5 years later you see the metaphor or the subliminal message that I put in there.
Right.
Cool. But I think I was definitely one of those like, no, I'm the best rapper ever because you see this triple entendre he did, and I wanted everyone to do like a literary analysis on my songs.
Wow.
So
That's amazing. That's awesome. I find that just wow. Because I mean, you do so much. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, come here and talk about some acting, and then I find out, boom, I've done this and successful at it. Congratulations to you on that. You just love art. You love creating.
yeah, yeah, didn't put it on the dating profiles, but I mean, puppetry and ventriloquism was like a thing. My senior project for high school was putting on a puppet show. Um,
Okay.
so it was, and even to this day, anything that seems to be like, oh, what do I enjoy doing, or what is fun and new and interesting? What's something that I haven't done before? And I think
Right.
the overall umbrella of being a creative or just an artist is that you don't need to hold yourself to one medium. Maybe
Yeah.
you'll do animation, maybe you'll
Yeah.
start a podcast. Um,
Right.
I think we're in a world now where we always have been, but we're affirming to each other that we can be multi hyphenates and not necessarily fit in one particular box. So
Right.
I love that for not only people like you and me, but for
Right.
everybody out there that's watching and trying to figure out if I should do something and
Right.
also do this. The answer is always yes.
As far as your acting, is there a certain genre? Are you a dramatic actor? Like what? Yeah.
I would say I'm a dramatic actor.
Okay.
I'd like to think I'm a clown offset, but I get casted for dramatic acting a lot.
Okay.
Anything that's a little bit more naturalistic is my bag. Um,
Right.
Anything that's a little bit more with comedy, you really have to be on point because it's like
Yes.
running specific routes or running specific plays in sports. You have to get it on point. And once again,
Right.
my personal feeling with comedy, it's an underappreciated art when it takes a
Yes.
lot of work to land a joke. Not only the
Right.
acting, the blocking, but if it's not edited well. I've been a part of those
Okay.
smosh videos here or there, but I personally could tell, like, I wish I would have done 1, 2, and 3 better. But
Right.
as you know, on set, the one thing that you never really have is time. So
No, you're right.
um,
Right.
I think that's probably something I feel like I could have always worked on and still can work on, just the comedic side
Right.
of things.
I with comedy, that's same thing. I'm a dramatic actress. I love meaty roles. I love that. It's natural. It's normal to me. With comedy, I love comedy, but you're right. It is very hard and it's very underrated. It's timing, and if you don't have that timing down, it's just not good. I was
Mhm.
working on a monologue that's a comedic monologue because I wanted to try my hand at it. You know how long it takes to get that down. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to come back to that, and I'm going to stick with what I do and what I know, because it is really hard with comedy. And if you if you hit a line that's supposed to be fun and you don't deliver it well because the timing's off or whatnot, or you just don't understand it, it is really hard. So I give it up to comedians, comedic actors, but I'm with you, drama. Who inspired you?
Absolutely.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say absolutely, and even then,
Right.
like with comedy, it's like finding ways into like maybe I'll just play the straight man, and that the funny one
Right.
plays off of. That's an easier constant. That
Yes.
okay, I know that I'm gonna give you the oh well Lucy, and let the person be the aloof comic themselves.
Right.
But being that bouncy comedic timing person with the physical attributes to hit this at the right point in time,
Right.
I ain't got it just yet.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I leave that to them. But inspiration as actors, who inspires
Yeah.
you?
Hmm. Good question. And I will say questions like that for me are always going to be evolving. Who you asked
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
early on back in the day, growing up. I'm a big Edward James Olmos fan. This guy who
Yes, okay.
he's let's see, American Me. Let's see,
Yep.
in 2000, Battlestar Galactica. But not only a performer, someone who really cares a lot about the community, the arts, education,
Yes. Right.
Hispanic Mexican community.
Right.
Um, Also, just a director, and just that also being an inspiration to branch out in different ways as well. You don't
Right.
necessarily see how much they're like, oh wow, he actually directed half of these episodes, and he'll
Right.
still like play, a serial killer in Dex. I mean, not to
Yeah,
spoil
right.
it. We all should know that by now. It's like 6 years
Everyone
old.
should know that, guys.
Yeah,
You should know that by now.
yeah. Let's see. Outside of that, like today in this day and age, I would say folks like Donald Glover, just in
Okay.
terms of the boldness to do
Okay.
something different, do as
Right.
much as you want to do. And
Right.
not everything is going to be amazing, but just like the
Right.
fearlessness to do it.
Right.
Um, I also like Christopher Abbott.
Okay.
The last thing I've seen him in, it's this movie with Margaret Qualley called Sanctuary. It's
Okay.
like if Alfred Hitchcock were still alive today and made a movie.
Okay.
Um, One setting in a hotel room, and it's just awesome. You could see it as a play.
Really?
And
Okay.
I just the performance that he gives every single movie, he just always brings it. So
Right.
inspiration is also to take some notes from them. I'm
Yep.
like, oh, okay,
Yep.
John Leguizamo, I see what you did with this monologue. I see what you
Yep.
did with this performance, this commitment, and also as a challenge. If
Right.
I get the opportunity, I want to do that well, if not better.
Right. I love uh what is it? He just died, James Earl Jones. Didn't he just
James Earl
he just he
Jones.
just he just passed. And I saw him in a movie way back when, and it was called Claudine. It was with oh gosh, I can't think of her name. Diane Carroll. It was
Oh yeah.
Diane Carroll, and he was in that. And I've seen that film so many times because I find him fascinating, his voice fascinating. Love him. Of course, Denzel. Seeing him in Glory, that was the first time I've ever seen him in a film. And of course, the scene that we all know when he just delivers that scene, the one tear drop, followed him throughout his career, and just absolutely love him. But it is right. You sit down, and I do a lot of note taking or sit back and see how they deliver that line and how normal they are. I remember I used to sit as a kid and just watch how normal they were, and wanted to make sure that I was normal and natural, just everyday conversation. I would sit and
Yeah,
do that. But also, are you a fan of old Hollywood, black and white?
I
The
am. I,
Yeah,
I
okay.
am. I'll say not a comedic actor, but I love Jerry Lewis movies.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, right?
he was the man. He was the man.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
and just outside of his history, what I've learned is like the man outside of just being the actor, but just learning and
yes,
inventing technologies for the industry. Just that video
yes.
playback. It's like, oh, like this was a Jerry Lee Lewis invention.
Wow, wow.
That's always awesome to see. Yeah, I'm actually a pretty big Hitchcock fan.
Yeah, okay.
And every Christmas, yes, I'm watching, It's a Wonderful Life, of course. So,
I love every Christmas I'm watching. I love horror films, and I love
mm,
thrillers, and so I love the Birds one and
mm-hmm,
two, the best. I was talking to someone, and we're talking about a movie being scary, horrifying, but it was just birds. It was
yeah,
just birds. But how
yeah,
terrifying was it with
yeah.
these birds? Just one appear, and you're not thinking anything about it. Then you have a whole line of them, and then the next thing, these birds are flying through the house. But that to me was scary. Without
Yeah.
any blood, without anything, just scary. And I find that just to be fascinating. Love that.
Oh yeah. The way
Right?
in which the way in which he just created something that would otherwise you would overlook in your everyday life,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's now extremely suspenseful. I'm
Right.
watching this series called From, and
Oh, yes.
yeah, um,
Yes.
amazing.
You're
Um,
right.
that title song is "Que Sera Sera," which was
Okay.
a pivotal part of, I believe it's "The Man Who Knew Too Much,"
Okay.
and not to spoil anything that's still like 60, 70,
Yeah,
80 years old at
it's
this
Yeah.
But in order for a mother to find her son or prove that, this kid who has been kidnapped is whistling that song so the mother can hear that is her son that she taught to whistle before he got kidnapped. And so as I'm listening to watching From, it's like, okay, I see you guys are even doing Hitchcock callbacks to what they're doing, which is kind of like I don't know if this is hints for other things that are going on in the show.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome and amazing to learn from old Hollywood because
Yes.
things that are timeless truly are timeless, regardless of
Absolutely.
the millimeters, the lens,
Yes.
the clarity,
Right.
or if it was black and white. You know, let me read the title of the silent movie if it's good enough. You know.
I have to say, and guys, if you guys haven't seen From, it's streaming. It's really good. I happened to see a commercial for it and looked really good. Got the MGM app so I can watch it. And how this weirdest series, but really, really good. I'm happy you brought that up because not a lot of people talk about From. So you guys check that out. It's a really good series. I don't want to say anything because it's I think we're in our 4th season right now.
Something like
But
that, yeah.
yeah, really good. Check it out. From horror films. Are you a fan of horror films?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
I think I just saw Blink Twice counts as a horror in my book.
Yeah, yeah. That's a horror to
So
me.
wanted to see Zoe Kravitz's debut, which was amazing, and horror. And that's actually not to spoil anything there, but kind of relevant to current times and whatever you might read in the headlines. Alien Romulus was amazing to me.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I love. I just put it as a category of WTF movies.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
either the third act just goes in a completely unimaginable direction,
Right.
or just the premise up front is like, wow, wait, what is going on right now? What are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
And I'm just bought in just to see if maybe it lands the plane or not. Even something that feels like it shouldn't work. There's a movie, actually, an American remake, but the original is is much better in my personal opinion. Speak No Evil, which
I've seen
I think
that.
Speak No Evil. All I'll say to kind of tease that is it's about the things that you're not saying and how passive aggressiveness, different customs, different cultures, or just kind of not necessarily standing up for yourself and being assertive when that matters can definitely be a slippery slope. Before you know it, you might find yourself in danger. And it could be very mundane decisions that you just find uncomfortable but brush off. And it's one of those, you give an inch, they're going to take a mile kind
Okay.
of situations. And that's all I'll say. But I think it's very
Okay.
well worth it because it's a horror movie in a different sense.
Okay. I really started really liking the remember when the where the movie shot from a phone, or it looks
Oh,
like it wanted like the movies when they became very popular. I love those. I find them to be more horrifying than anything because you're on the journey with them, but it's through like a camera phone or whatnot. Those films, and I can't think of the name right now because I'm on the spot, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a horror film. It was shot with a phone camera or cameras in the house. I remember it was about dead people or a ghost. I can't think of the name, but anyways, and there's like 3 or 4 of them, and they were
mm-hmm.
really, really good. And I remember when they showed them in the theaters when they first came out. That's when they were showing the audience reaction to this film, and everyone was like, "Oh my god! Oh no! Oh!" And so I saw it, and I love those type of films. I love ghost stories. Ghost movies are great, but also love like the Hellraiser series. I thought those were
Oh
good. At least
yeah,
1, 2, 3. Those were just. And the new one that came out a few years ago, I thought that one was really good.
well
So
done.
I love those really good gory films. It has to make sense though. Even
Yeah.
Frightener, like even that one, the scary clown. That was even good to a point. Right now, what are you working on right now? What do you have going on for yourself?
It's funny you mentioned that. Great segue as far as iPhones. In terms of what I'm working on right now, off of the heels of, and then you mentioned Meisner, I worked with an actor. Shout out to Ike Torres, part of the Meisner School in San Francisco. We worked on a film that won Best Film at the Meisner Festival, and we decided to run it back and have a particular idea to where we are. I think the only way to describe it is that we're shooting companion films to where
Okay.
one informs the other. They're standalone, but if you watch them both together, that they'll give you a part of the bigger picture. We are deciding to shoot that on an iPhone.
Okay.
So that is going to be very interesting and exciting, not just for the headline itself, but just the practicality. You can put a phone in anywhere. So the angles that we're researching and we're trying to pull off, but also doing the work for folks who are studying the Meisner technique, who are properly trained to give a powerhouse performance. Outside of that,
Yeah.
I'm also executive producing a sci-fi mystery that takes place at an HBCU. We're calling that Parks University, and I am beyond excited to bring that to life. It's been a work in progress for quite some time now. Just working out some kinks as far as the script and getting the location down. We're probably going to launch our crowdfunding page very, very soon in regards to that, because we would love to get the support from the HBCU community and those who support stories like that.
Right.
From everyone. So I wanted to feel like a FUBU type of project, a for us by us. So without
Right.
the buy-in from the people, we don't think it could be done. And so we definitely want to tell a story that is sci-fi thriller, some horror elements, but not necessarily a special kind of person, but young prodigies that are beating the bad guy, defeating evil, finding themselves by way of their wits and their intelligence and their reliance on community, which are principles that we don't necessarily see as emphasized all the time.
Right. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can still hear you.
Okay. I don't know why my camera went out, but I can hear you though. So there we go. Yeah, I know I got a blackout. It's okay. As long as he can hear me, as long as we can see him, that's let's see, just a second. There we go. Sorry, Antonio.
No,
Yeah,
no
I can
worries.
still hear you though. I can still hear you though.
Okay.
What does your family think about your acting and the world that you're in? Because some families feel like it's I know for my family it's like, well, you should do something that's kind of regular. Why would you
Mm.
want to go out there? Because it's such a risk. Do you have issues like that?
Um, there's always conversations about that, and I think as a creative, you definitely find ways to still make sure that you keep the lights on. So just
Right.
like I'm sure anyone that is in this field, you know that that's not necessarily consistent. So you do have things that you fall back on. Just to rip the band-aid off and let you know, like I do have a state job. So there's a stability there, working on my pension. But when I'm clocking out, like I'm no longer state worker Antonio. I am definitely storyteller tone at
Right.
501. As far as their opinions of it, in a strange way, I got the support and encouragement from both sides in different ways. My mom was the one who was part of the children's church and taught Sunday school. So if she put on a performance like I was going to be in that play,
Right.
she kind of gave me no choice but to get into puppets and ventriloquism. So she definitely encouraged the creative parts of me. And my father used to be an actor in
Okay.
Texas. He traveled, and that was actually what paid his way through college as an actor. So there's definitely moments where I could see that they look at their son like, "Yep, that's a little version of me right there."
Right.
And there's not a lot of pushback. If anything, it's definitely like grounded reality and motivation to do better and get to a bigger level, so to speak.
Right.
They're proud of a particular spot that I got. It's like, okay, cool, this is great. Let's get the leading role next time. Or okay, this
Right.
is cool, this is awesome. Let's see, how what you did different in comparison to the person who did get that role but looks kind of like you. What was it about them? So we actually take time to analyze and find ways to, I guess, improve my craft at the same time. So the support is there.
Right, right. Yeah, same here. Kept my day job, obviously,
Yeah,
kept my
yeah,
job, have that. But no, I think the feeling of being able to do something that maybe a lot of people dream of or want to do, but don't know how to get into it or don't feel like they can do it because,
mm,
people think that, when you get into acting, it's all in. You gotta just do that. You can't have a job. And there's ways around it, guys. I mean, you can do it, we do it, and every local community has a playhouse.
yes.
There's a lot of things in your community you can look up, like literally Google it. You can find casting sites, so you can do that. Absolutely, you can. And I remember when we were on set together, you were telling me about a project that you couldn't talk about, but you were in talks. I think it was something with Paramount.
Yeah, let's just say that might have been brought up already due
Okay.
to
Okay.
current things
Okay.
in the works.
Okay. Okay.
Different decisions may have been made to where we may possibly go different directions.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, absolutely. Being a creative has put me in the rooms to talk to networks, which I never thought was possible.
Right.
But once again, it's not even me, just being a humble person myself. It's the idea that was so interesting to get me in a room to make this pitch, to see where things can go from that. And things have gone from there. Other networks, and I have been in meetings and people know about what I'm working on.
Wow.
And for somebody who, generally speaking, you definitely want to have like your list of credits before you get through those doors.
Right.
For me to get to that point beforehand lets me know that what I have and what I'm working on is something, and my team is working on, I should say, because it's definitely a group. We are
Absolutely.
producing this. So all shouts and credit to our team, our writers, our producers, cast and crew there. It's a winning idea, and not just one. So we have a few that we are working on. Um, I'm just excited for the potential for everybody to see this. Quite frankly, wherever it lands, if it's YouTube or if it's HBO Max, clearly I'm leaning towards HBO Max. But if you put it out myself, just to be excited to have a finished product from an idea to something that was made tangible, bring people together to put forth this idea is honestly what it's all about, to have people feel a feeling that you felt when you had that idea.
Right. Right. What are your future goals, like with acting? Like, what do you, where do you want to go? Where do you want to end up at with acting?
Yeah, so I'll say, if anything, my future goals kind of current to where my goals are right now.
Okay.
I do not want to leave anything necessarily in the hands of others. I want to have the odds in my favor because I'm creating the odds. So the wild stories that I have in mind, I can see myself playing this particular person in this biopic. I can see myself voicing over this animation idea. I can see myself maybe helping somebody else. It's an
Right.
idea that I want to give someone else a chance. So, in regards to acting, I wanted to open doors to be able to create a gate, not to be a gatekeeper, but to open that and allow other talented people to walk through that, run through that, actually.
Right.
Because, as you know, it's not just about look at me and look what I'm doing. Um,
Absolutely.
if you're really doing this the right way, you are surrounding yourself with a great group of people, and you're just as excited about their success as you are yourself. And so I think the ultimate goal was to honestly just look back and like say, wow, this is amazing to see all these dope, amazing people that I just was blessed to work with.
Right.
Um, Having similar experiences like that before in college, I definitely want that again. I created the first television show for my campus, and I was the star of it. But since then, I've seen, same people in my television show on my campus, my classmates in
Really.
Power, Power, Atlanta, just deciphering, was it Travis Scott lyrics? Like, I think he was talking about so and so. I think he was talking about my classmate right there. And just to see, like, oh wow, like people are awesome and amazing on their own, and just to be blessed to work with them
Right.
validates who I am, my talent,
Right.
that I'm along the same wavelength of greatness.
Right. That's amazing. It's amazing who you've worked with. It's amazing the things you've done. Because you write and you do a lot of everything, right? I mean, you're
Yeah,
writing, you're producing, you do a lot of that, right?
yeah. I think ultimately, if anything, I don't want to wait for anything to happen. And I
Right.
understand. Yes, I may not be the one making the decision for the new Marvel something something something. I will
Right.
audition for that if it comes across my desk.
Right.
Um, but at the same time, I view myself as a creator and more than just an actor, hopefully waiting to be discovered, waiting for something. I
Yep.
want to be active and not necessarily reactive
Right.
to this industry. And I think that that is how I'm going to be fulfilled. Whatever
Right.
success may look like for other people, I think I will be happy making things.
Right.
And you can't necessarily wait for other people to notice you to
Love
make
that.
things.
I love that. I feel the same way. My motto for me was, okay, I got to create my own opportunity. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to wait around. I've done that. If a part comes around and I can get that part, that's great. But in the meantime, I love that you say that because I do believe that so much, and not just opportunity for myself, like with the podcast, reaching out to local artists around town to give them a platform to come and share what they do. I love that, and I love that you said that because I don't think a lot of people understand you can create your own opportunity. I mean, if you got like Antonio says, iPhone. If you have an iPhone and an idea, there you go. You can do it yourself, and I love that because I tell everyone, I wanted to create my own opportunity. I didn't want to wait around. I didn't want to do whatever. Hence, I was like podcasting.
Yeah,
It's a way for me to create. But I knew when I started this and when I talked to someone about it, I knew I wanted it to be a platform where everyone that I worked with around town, downtown, I knew that I wanted to bring them on the show and to share their talent with the world,
yeah.
and that's giving back. And then you give back. But I do want to ask you this for those young people, grown that want to be where you're at, what would you tell them to do? Do you feel like going to school is necessary? We know that it's not absolutely necessary. It's great. But what would you tell them? What steps should they take to fulfill their goals?
Ooh, good question. And as simple as possible, just get your reps up because you learn by doing, and it's okay to make mistakes. If you haven't started, just start. Even if you don't have an idea, turn on the camera, figure out what it's like, find your good side. You will know that before someone else who you're hoping that would notice you on the audition will. Um, Figure out things outside of just acting. Have something in mind in terms of what makes you feel good when you watch something and see if maybe you can recreate that. And by way of that, maybe you will branch into figuring out, oh, if I shoot it this way and this way and this way, you're now learning how to edit. Now you are making yourself much more marketable. You might be able to edit something, a reel, something, um, or just your own piece. Find your own voice. But the only way you find your voice is to stay in the metaphor, just open your mouth.
Yes.
You have to start speaking, making sounds before you formulate words. And it's okay that it's not everything's going to be perfect. You're going to make
Right.
mistakes. Hey, just so long as you're authentic with knowing that you are learning along the way, enjoy the journey and you will get there. You may not necessarily feel like it
Yeah.
because I always feel like I haven't made it, but the true
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
but the true euphoric like aha moment is that there never is a made it. The real feeling is making. Um and similar to like a cook in the kitchen making gumbo, yes, you enjoy when everyone like gets a big old bowl full and they're just like sitting back enjoying everything. But The real joy is like, okay, you know this is going to hit when you put these spices in. When you drop this hot link in, when you do this, when you stew this, when you start it like this, like you're enjoying the process in and of itself. And if you enjoy the process, you don't have to worry about how it's hitting because it's going to hit.
Absolutely. And also, I want to say student films. There's a lot of students
Yes.
that are at the college in your town that are in the film department that make films. Try out for student films. Those are the best way to learn and to understand set life. Also, Antonio and I, extra work.
Yes.
Help out around town, help out on a set, be in the audience just so you understand how things work. And also monologues. Monologues are great. If you have an Instagram, you don't, whatever, shoot your own monologue, post that and get better and
Mm-hmm.
do that. I mean, be amazed what a good monologue can do for you. I am living proof of that. It's amazing. And someone gave me that advice. Do a monologue, put it up, and find a monologue. I love Kelly Powell. She's great. She has
Mm-hmm.
great dramatic monologues. You can do that as well. And like I said, in your local town, sat casting, your local theater. I just want to let you guys know you can do that. Turn on a camera, start a podcast. You can do it. Absolutely.
Um,
Is there anything that you want? Go ahead, please.
I was going to say those are awesome points, amazing points, and just ego. Check that at the door.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So long as you know that you know nothing, and you'll always be in a place that you can get better, receive constructive criticism,
Oh yeah.
understand, and just see the world by way of what you've already put out. Um, you might not get paid up front. But if you're
Oh
okay
yeah.
with that and you understand that, once again, checking your ego at the door, I think
Yes.
you will go far.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do agree with you on that. Yeah, you work free a lot, but
Yeah.
for me, it's not the money. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's the part. It's you don't even money will come whenever it comes. Don't do this for money. Please don't get into it for money. You are not going to get paid. You do it because, oh my gosh, I got that part. I'm on a set. That's the best feeling ever is when you audition for something and you get it. I got paid that day. I won $1 million that day because I got that role, which is going to further me along. So definitely want to make sure that you do not get into this for money. Get into it because you absolutely love it and you love creating. And like Antonio said, you'll be amazed where you find yourself at with voice acting, and you thought you're going to be into an actor, and you do that, and then you step into this realm or animation. It's amazing what you can do. And I want to ask you this: don't you think it's awesome that here in Sacramento, because you're getting to a point where you don't necessarily have to go to LA, you don't have to go to Hollywood to make it. This town is great. The things that are going on here in Sacramento, aren't you just like I came here in 2012, got into acting in 2017 here. It's
Yeah.
amazing how far we've come. Isn't that like it's crazy?
Yeah. And I just think whether it's, I know people outside looking in are probably just like, what are y'all talking about? It's just Ladybird over there. But like, no, there's so many things that were filmed here, that are being filmed here, to even hear about it. I may not have been a part of the production, but once again,
Right.
crossing paths with people like, okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't in that movie, but okay, in that Leonardo DiCaprio
Yeah.
movie, I'm going to look out for
Yeah.
you.
Right.
Like I'm so happy for people, and
Yes.
just once again, it's a confirmation of something in the water. Like Sacramento is
Yes.
a beautiful place to be in, to shoot at, and with amazing people to work with, and the
Yeah.
world is starting to see that. So
Right.
anybody who's doing this outside of Sacramento, come visit us.
Yes. Sacramento, stand up. Please stand up.
Exactly.
Um, Last words. Is there a project that you worked on that you want to talk about, that you want to shout out? Please, this
Mm,
is your time.
Yeah, so I'll say in terms of the project I want to work on, I'm working on, definitely want to shout out once again, Parks University. When you guys get a chance, and when that link is posted, a sci-fi mystery taking place on an HBCU campus. I know y'all watch Harry Potter thinking like, man, if it was some black people in that, no. We love to see, we love sci-fi, we love horror, but we don't necessarily see ourselves too often.
Yes.
So we're trying to create that opportunity to position ourselves in the way in which we imagine in general. For those who went to an HBCU, you know it's a magical place already. So we're just trying to bring things that are already understood in this one amazing project. So we would love for you to check out Parks University when you get a chance. Feel free to follow me at Storyteller Tone on all the socials, not LinkedIn. But other than that, at Storyteller Tone. And would love to connect with you, learn from you, be a fan of your project. Let's connect.
Absolutely. And you guys will find his links. Everything will be in the description of the video, so you'll be able to hit those links and follow what is it? Tell us again.
Storyteller Tone.
Storyteller Tone. Okay, so you can hit that link. You'll be able to find him, follow him through his journey. And like he said, hit him up if you have questions about anything, guys. His email will be in that link. Okay, so if you go to his link, we'll take you to his Instagram, and you'll find a world of everything that he's worked on. So please know that, you guys, I have David B. Reed. He's going to be on this upcoming Wednesday. Going to be a special show at 1 p.m. And David is a creator. He's an actor. He's a writer. But he's also known for the cartoonist. Okay, he's an animator. And you guys can, you'll be able to check his stuff out. Roku, this guy has done a lot for himself. So he was on Movie Lovers Unite, Rossie Talks, first interview. He'll be back this upcoming Wednesday afternoon. He'll be on. And then on the 30th, I have a Sacramento rapper who I really enjoy. Joey Cow's going to be on. I can't wait to speak with him, talk about his music. He's great. And you guys know, once a month, I will be reaching out to other parts of the United States, and I will bring artists on from around the country. And if you guys missed our first artist that was not from Sacramento but out of Atlanta, BK the Don, check him out. You guys can watch his interview. His music is lit. So we also have special guests in October. We have a former Playmate, Bunny. She's now a DJ Colleen Shannon. She DJ'd at Paris Hilton's birthday party. She is pretty big. You guys can find her music on Spotify. She's everywhere. She writes children books now. She's very successful. So we're going to talk to DJ Colleen Shannon. And then I have a young man that's going to come on at the beginning of October. And I want to keep him a secret. He's a talent here in Sacramento. I'll be sharing his stories on my social media, but I want to keep some of the guests that we have coming on in October kind of quiet, but we have a lot of big things coming for you. Thank you so much. I'm Rossie McCree, the host of Rossie's Clubhouse. I appreciate you guys joining us. Antonio Leaks, thank you so much for finally us being able to connect. I'm so happy. I enjoyed working with you. It was awesome that we crossed paths and that you're able to come on Rossie's Clubhouse. And just to let you know, anything you have coming out, anything, let me know, Rossie. Set up a studio, please. You're welcome to come back. I've had Yums Awkward, catching up with Yums. He came back. Hayla V will be back in November. So, and John Wild, I definitely am going to have John Wild back. You guys, he has a new album out. Check him out. And Grand View from Southern California. He has a new album out. I'm hoping to connect with him again. So it's in the works. Thank you guys so much. Be good to each other, all right? And I'll see you Wednesday on Rossie Talks, and I'll see you on the 30th here on Rossie's Clubhouse. So we are out. Producer, please play that music.